Okay, so when your husband is going through a depression or something and you're emailing him wondering what is going on, and you're texting him saying, what do you mean you want a divorce? What is going on? So you can say you want a divorce, or if if you're not going to work at this marriage, you can have a divorce. But he didn't want to work at it. So I had done everything I could. We went to BeefSide, December. It was into November. I think it was right after Thanksgiving that I told him he could stay in his truck for pushing me. He doesn't have joy, he said. Okay, he admits he can't put his finger on it, but he admits he doesn't have joy. He said he definitely was not walking close with God, and I take notes of like everything, and that's the problem, he said. No, I said that's the problem. He's not walking close with God, and I wanted him to have what I have, the love of Christ, the joy of being a Christian. I know that he was going to church with me, so Kevin Leandrolies saying, oh, you've got all this religious preaching. I don't know what he's talking about. These are Christian principles that my husband has been very accepting of. He was baptized into Christ, so I told him I want him to be happy. If you're having a breakdown or something, I want you to take care of yourself. Basically, do what makes you happy. He had a lot of freedom. I mean, he used to go to his parents every single weekend. He went to a concert with them. He did stuff with them when the kids were little while I was home. Not that they really wanted me to go to a concert or a bar. He went out to a bar when he's married, right? And he talked about how idle it is over there all the time. So he said he doesn't, I wondered what the signs of depression were, and I was talking to him about it. And so, when you go from a husband who's like this, and this is him talking about God, okay? So he has a faith in God. So I don't know what all this preachy stuff is about. You have a husband who goes from sending you love notes and cards, and telling you how much he loves you, and then out of the blue, he says he wants a divorce. There's something wrong, right? And you want to try to help and figure it out, because marriage is supposed to be through the good and the bad. So here's another card from him. And yeah, so yep. And then this one we both grew up on the Muppets. We both thought these old guys in the booth were funny. So he had given me this card with some funny stuff on the inside, and then I had given him this one back in 2019. And I said, thanks for being my pillar of strength, and I love you so much. So how do we go from 31 years of, building marriage, having a wonderful, childhood together, lots of fun, same friends? How do you go from something like this, and even being a team together and going against his parents together, being like, we are, against the world together. That's what marriage is supposed to be about, right? You're supposed to be a team, partners. And when his parents were tearing him down and sending him awful, nasty notes, I was right there with him, supporting him. And I went and actually got help for him. So this therapist today was like, Melissa, you got your head screwed on right. And she's like, you're a clear thinker. I tend to not be really emotional. My husband is the one who goes, with his feelings a little bit more than I do. I tend to be more logic. And he lets his feelings dictate him way too much. So I think the feelings of just feeling discouraged or whatever got to him. And another thing is, he says he was left in his truck. Well, I have a realtor that I spoke with, and she's like, well, what do you want to do? How do you want to do this? And we talked a lot. And I said to Ben, after we went to court with the landlord, I said, so what do you want to do? Because I think I'm going to fight this, because he's leaving a family on the streets. And he's like, you know what? I'm done with this house. I don't care. You do what you want. I'm staying out of it. I don't care. and there was some mold in the house that the landlord didn't take care of, like for a whole year. He did not come over. He didn't want to take care of it, and he knew about it because it was, when we left, it was really deep within the insulation. Like when we, looked in the bathroom and I had pictures, you could see that the mold had been covered up. So he knew about this, and mold was an issue for us. So I just had some wise counsel that, look, once you go to court and you get into mold, that can be a downhill, scary situation. Either it's so subjective, so you just don't want to go there. So I'm like, yeah, Mike, you can have the home, and here, you can even have a little extra money. So money was not the issue. He got all his money plus more. But Ben did have a chance to say, what do you want to do again with this home? And he didn't want to bother with it. So that was his choice again. And then he left us homeless with no plan of how to get us out of things. I remember looking at a place in Laconia, and I'm like, okay, let's do Laconia. And he's like, no, I don't want to. Then there was another house that we looked at together. No, I don't want to do that one. So I'm like, well, your kids aren't going to be homeless. If you want to be homeless, you can go right ahead and be homeless without us. It's not going to be part of our life.